Concussion assessment is one of the things that we do on the sidelines. If an athlete is suspected of having a head trauma of an injury, the first thing that we look for is we look for how the athlete reacts once they get up off the floor, they come back to the huddle. A lot of times you'll see kind of a dazed look, they'll look confused. The athletes a lot of times will shake their heads or they'll kind of blink their eyes. This is a signal to us that something probably has happened. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go out and try to retrieve the athlete. First thing I will do would be to look in the athlete's eyes, check to see for pupil size. Second thing we'll want to do is maybe start asking them some questions. Do you remember where you're at? Do you remember what you're doing? Like if it's in a football injury, you'll ask them, what was the last play? If they can't remember those things, then that tells you that they may have some disruption of some of their short-term memory. Once we get them over to the sidelines and we start what we call a sideline assessment, there's 12 cranial nerves that can be disrupted from any type of one of these injuries, and there's a series of steps that we go to check those nerves. So as I said, one of the first things we do would be to look at their pupils, look to see if their eyes are equal and reactive to light. In the situation with Gabe, having the glasses on, that's going to maybe throw things off a little bit, so the first thing I would ask him to do would be to we would take the glasses off of him. Another thing that would happen is kids who wear contact lenses, this can be an issue because one of their eyes may be a little bit different as far as the vision is concerned. So one contact may be a stronger prescription than the other side, which is going to throw that pupil reaction off. Some people will see blown pupils like that and they automatically react, oh my God, I have a concussion, we need to do something. I always ask them, are you wearing contacts? Yes, I am. So then that is another way for us to tell. But what we would do is just looking and observing the individual, look to see how they look. Do they look like they're tired? Do they look like they're feeling lethargic? You start asking them some questions. You go through the cranial nerves. You check the eyes, make sure that they're equal and reactive to light. You can do this with either a pen light. A lot of times what I do, since we're outside at this point in time, is I'll cover the eyes up, keeping the eyes open. And then when you remove, you're looking for a pupil change. You're looking for the pupils to get larger or smaller. Then I will open one eye. It should enlarge, switch over to the other side. You should have that, you should notice that change as well, okay? You can also have the individual follow a finger. This is the old standard that everybody knows, but tracking is very significant in regards to how your eyes function. Ask them to keep their head still and just follow the finger. Go side to side, you'll go up and down, making sure that they can track and they can follow with what you're doing, okay? That will be a check for the optic nerve. You can also check for hearing, your sense of hearing. We'll snap our fingers and ask them, can you hear that on both sides? Does that sound the same? All of this theoretically would be with the football helmet probably still on. We wouldn't want to take it off just yet until we know exactly what's going on. Then you can have the athlete wrinkle their nose. You want to have them smile. You want to have them frown. Okay, stick your tongue out. Say ah. Okay, wrinkle your forehead. Okay. Those are all just checking for facial nerves to make sure that they're still function as far as the facial nerves are concerned. Another thing that we would do, we would actually palpate through their neck, because a lot of times with a head injury like this, they'll have neck pain as well. Ask them if they're having any neck pain. Are they having any tingling or radiating symptoms down in their arms, numbness or tingling in their fingers? We'll have the athlete shrug their shoulders, checking for strength now. So we're going to have them shrug, we're going to push down to make sure that they've got good strength, okay? Hold your hands in this position, please. You're going to push down, making sure they've got good strength in those positions as well. Checking for manual dexterity. Can you do this for me? Good. All the way through. Okay. Stop with middles. Make big circles. Hold those circles nice and tight. Don't let me pull apart. Okay. Good. Don't let me pull apart. Okay. Good. Okay. Then we'll have them squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. Okay. Once you've checked some of those things out and you've got good function with some of those, then your next step would maybe to look at doing some kind of a balance assessment. Really, this is almost like doing a field sobriety test. So we'll have the athlete, more than likely by this point in time, we'll take their helmet off. We'll have the athlete stand. So let's have you stand up, please. Both feet together. I want you to hold your hands out to the sides. I want you to look up at the ceiling. You're looking to see if they have any type of a stagger or have any type of a balance issue when they do that, okay? He's okay with that, so we'll have him come back down to the front again, okay? Now, shift over to one foot, doesn't matter which one, same thing. Raise up, put your hands out to the side, look back. Have them look back, looking for any balance or stagnant issues. You can switch this from side to side. Okay, so then the next step would be to have them, once again, stand both feet together, hands out to the side, lean your head back. Now close your eyes. And once again, you're looking for any balance issues. And then from that stance, you would go into a one-leg stance. Okay? Once they have passed those segments, then we would go into what we would call an exertional test. And the reason that we would perform an exertional test on this individual is because as heart rate goes up and blood pressure increases, the first place that gets oxygenated blood is your brain, because it comes straight up the carotid arteries. So as you exercise, your heart rate will go up, which means your cranial pressures will increase. And your exercises can be anything. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll have the kids jog up and down the sidelines. You can have them do some push-ups, you can have them do some sit-ups, you can have them do some jumping jacks, anything along those lines. And if they have any other signs of these symptoms coming back, then there's another indicator that we have a significant head trauma going on. Now, the way the state law reads, as the governor signed today, even if this athlete comes off and reports to me, I hit this guy, I saw some stars, I've got a headache, that individual's done. They will not return. This assessment will be done on the sidelines to determine whether or not we see a significant enough injury that we need to send this person to the hospital, which would mean either calling the parents or sending them by ambulance. Normally what we would do on a Friday night is we would do this assessment. Saturday morning we would go back to the school. During film or during weight training, we would do this exact same thing again to determine what's going on. Is the kid still having these concussive symptoms? And if he fails any one of these segments of this, then our recommendation would be that we would want them to take an impact test. And the impact test is a computerized concussion assessment tool that SportsCare uses. We would have done a baseline test on this athlete prior to the season opening up. Now, if he shows signs of a concussion, we'll bring him back into the office. He'll sit down, he'll take a second impact test. Those two sets of results will be sent to our impact credentialed physician, which is Dr. John Watson. He will review those, contact me back, let me know this is a abnormal exam. If it's an abnormal exam, then this individual is held out until their symptoms go away. We test them again. When they come back to their baseline status, then they will be allowed to return to play, but only over a 24 to 48 hour period.